Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela WebDev. So in the previous video we have created the dynamic form component and we have got the questions and all those things, right? Now let's try to loop over one by one and let's try to create the form group. So now we got the form, we got the questions. So now we need to create a form. So for creating the form, what we need to do? So we need to get the form group. So there is nothing but form group. Okay. So for creating this form group, what we need to do? So let's try to create the form group using this. What I can say is using using these questions. Whatever the questions we are having, let's try to create the form group. For this one, what I will do it is, so in the dynamic form only, I will create a new file that is nothing but question-control. So controls. So for each question, I will be creating a control. So I will create a separate service for this one. So @injectable. So this injectable, what we need to do it is, so it should be injected. So injectable, and here let's try to keep it export class question control service. This is our control service, and here we will be having a method that is nothing but toForm group. So we need to convert it to form group, and here you will be getting the questions for this one. So questions, you will get the questions as question base of string and which is of type array. So this is the thing. So and this question base, so we'll try to import it. That's it. So now we will try to create a form group for this. So now let's say that I will be having a variable something like constant group of any is equal to, it's an object. So here this is an object I will be having, and here I will loop over one by one questions dot for each loop. I will loop over one by one and I will get each question. So for this each question, so what I will try to do it is, so group with the question key. Question key is the main thing, right? Question dot key is equal to, if question dot required is there, if required is there means, if required is there means, then what I can do here, so what I can do is, so sorry, if question dot required is true means, then I will create new form control of, so if the question value is there means, I will try to populate it with the question dot value or empty, and validators dot required. So validators dot required. So this is the thing. Or otherwise, if it is not required means, I will create a new form control, the same thing, and here also the same thing, question dot value or empty. So this is the thing. So now each one, it will be added into the group with a group of question dot key. So now we got it. So here what I will try to do is, so I will return everything in a new form group. Each control I am preparing it and I am sending this using the group. That's it. So now I am writing this toForm group. So here what I will try to do is, in our dynamic form.component.ts file, so let's inject this. So here the form, I will inject the QCS is equal to inject of question control service. So I am injecting this one, and here the form group is equal to this dot QCS dot toForm group, and we need to send the questions. That is nothing but this dot questions. That's it. So now we are sending the questions. We got the form, and here we can import the common module and also the reactive forms module, and in the providers we can do something like in the providers, so we can do question control service. That's it. So now we have injected all the things. So we have completed this one. So now what I need to do is, let's go to the HTML part. In this HTML part, what I want to do it is, so here we need to prepare the HTML. So let's try to prepare the question dynamic form component.html. So let's try to do it. So here what I will try to do is, here I will create a form, and this form is form group is equal to the form. We have injected the form, and in this one, so one by one we need to add it. So here I will try to loop over the questions. So questions, sorry, @ for at the rate for question of question of questions. So I will take one by one the questions, and here it should be tracked within question dot key. Question dot key, that's it. And here in this one we need to create we will create one dynamic one. So here let's create the another component, that is nothing but ngGC dynamic form question. So each question I will try to send each question into a separate component. So I am creating a separate form for this one. Let it create. So dynamic form question is also created. So here what I will try to do it is, so in this one app hyphen dynamic form question. So this is our dynamic form question, and what I will try to do here, I will pass the question here. So question is equal to question. So I am passing the question. So each question I am passing it, and dynamic form component also here we need to import it in this one dynamic form question component. So fine. So let's go to the dynamic form question. So here you will be getting a question. So that is nothing but at the rate input. So at the rate input. So we should download this input, and here I will be getting the question which is of type question base of string. Okay. So this is the question we will be getting. Now let's try to loop over each one question, and we need to show that question one by one. So here let's go into the HTML part. Here I will do it. So here I can have a div class is equal to, so one by one form group. So I can have one form group, and here I can have one label. So for this one attr dot for attribute dot for is equal to question dot key. We can have the key, and here we can show that question dot label. So we have this one, right? Question dot label. So this one is also completed. So now here I need to provide options like if at the rate if what I can say is question dot control type is equal to text box. If it is a text box means then I need to show it as an input. So here I can have an input type is equal to text. So here if you want you can take the type also, but here I am giving the type is equal to text like that only. And here I can have what I can do it is form control name. So form control name is equal to question dot key, and also you can also have an ID also. So the ID is equal to question dot key. That's it. And if you want you can also add the name, and so that's it. So now at the rate if question dot control type is equal to drop down. If it is a drop down means then what I can do here, so we can have a select box, and in this select box the ID is equal to question dot key. Okay, and also the form control name is equal to question dot value, and this one should be in the not value, that one also it should be in the key only. Form control name is also key, so that value will be automatically, it will be selected. That's not a problem. So now here the options. So here you will be having the option. So for this one you can have a for loop let opt of question dot options. So you will be having question dot options, and here you can have option dot opt dot, we can have the key. So we can have the key, and here I can have this option, and I can show the opt dot key, and here I can show something like what I can say value, right? Value is equal to opt dot value. So that's it. So these are the things which we are able to see. So form control name, why it is coming, since it is unknown property, question dot key. So it's all correct only, right? So form control name is equal to here also we need to add it like this only. So why I am added like this, that's the problem. So fine. So now maybe I haven't imported the reactive forms module in this one. Yes, fine. So common module and also the reactive forms module. Fine. So now we have imported this dynamic thing. So now let's try to, why this form control name? Since it is okay. So we can bind this one to the form. We should have a form group in the same thing only. So form group is equal to form. So we need to pass this form group into this one. So that's why. So that's not a problem. So we can have multiple form groups also, not a problem. It's not a problem. So in our dynamic form.component.html file, so what we can do, we can send the form group also. So form is equal to form. So we are sending this form, and in the app dynamic form question, so we can take this app dynamic form question. So here we can get the @input of form, which is of type form group. That's it. So that's it. So now we got the dynamic form. So here the form also, it should be working. Why it's not working still? So form is there, and here also form is there. Then what is the problem for this one? Property form doesn't exist in dynamic question component. Why? It is existing now, right? So it's of type form group. So what is the problem in this one? So maybe there's some problem, I think. So fine, I think it will, yeah, now it is set up. So now we have completed this one. So now we have the dynamic form component also, the HTML file also, and here we are sending the question. So let's try to see whether we can able to pass it or not. So can't bind questions or something like this means, so let's try to go here. Why? Because is, so question control service also we are having it here, app.component.ts file. Where is this app.component.ts file? Let's try to check it here also. So here we are injecting the question service, right? So here providers, and here we need to have question service. That's it. So let's try to see the output for this one. So whether the output for this one, question is equal to question. So dynamic form component. So I can't bind question since it is unknown property, app dynamic form question. Okay, so maybe in our app dynamic form question, so we are taking the input as a question base of string. Fine, it's correct only. So what is wrong in this form component? And here also I am taking the question base. So QCS is equal to like this, and here we are able to get the value. And dynamic form.component.html. So dynamic form question of type for question of questions. So we are trying to pass one by one the question here. So what is the question? Dynamic form component.ts file. Here we are taking, otherwise I will take it as an empty. So what could be the issue here? I am unable to get it. Let's try to see once again. Dynamic component question. The mistake is here, I have to rate it as a question, not like that. Okay, fine. So hopefully everything is solved, I think. So now let's try to see the output for this one. So if I try to see the output, see here we are able to see the first name and email. So why this one gone? I don't know. Drop down means maybe the drop down question is equal to drop down in this HTML. So I have given it as a drop down. So then what is the issue? If it is equal to drop down means, then you need to go it here. The control type, what is that I have given? So for this question, where is this question service, question.service, and here we have created new drop down. So in this new drop down, where is the, from where it is coming? The drop down is coming from question drop down, and here I have given the override control type is equal drop down. So fine, hopefully I am able to get it, I think. But here let's try to add in our dynamic form question component.html. So for this one we will add class is equal to form control, then we are able to get it clearly. And for this one also class is equal to form control. Okay, let's see the output for this one, how it will look like. So still we are not able to see the first name and the last name, the first name and the email we are able to see. The select id is equal to question name, and options we are able to see it, and the question dot control type is equal to drop down. If it is equal to drop down means, then we are able to check it. And now here we will try to check in our Angular inspect element. Let's try to see it, then we can able to understand it. So in our Angular, it should have, okay, so here we are having this one, okay, form is undefined and question is undefined. I don't know why. So here for this one is also form is undefined, okay, so some problem is there. So let's try to check it here in our app. Let's go into our thing, and here in this form, so in this app dynamic form, whether we are able to get the data. So questions area of 3, and each one we should send it in the form. So for this one we are able to get the form, and here also we are able to get the we are able to get the question. So control type is this one, and for this one also we are able to get it. So text box, why for all of them only a single one it is coming? So this one is same, this one is same, and this one is also same. How come? Maybe this is my problem. My first name email is coming correct only, right? So this one, if I try to check the inputs for this one, so this is the form and this is the control type, first name. So how come this one is coming value? Check once. So for this one only we are getting it as an undefined actually. So for this one we are able to get the form value and all those things. We are able to get the question and all those things. Let's try to check it why we are able to not get able to get it. That should be something like here only the question based, the questions. So what are the type of questions we are getting it? Let's try to understand it. So here in our app dynamic form, so we should able to get the questions as an array, and here you will be having last one is a drop down, control type drop down, favorite animal, everything is fine, required is false type, value is undefined, okay, everything is nice only, right? Okay, hopefully this is looking fine only. So control type is drop down, and here in this form we are trying to loop over one by one. Question we got it, and here also we got the question as text box, email address and all those things. And for this one I don't know why this one we got the form as undefined, and also the, so maybe the dynamic form.component.ts file, dynamic form.component.html file. So where is this dynamic form.html file? Yes, so dynamic form question is equal to question of questions, track question.key. So something wrong is going on. So here let's say the dynamic form question.component.ts, or here in this one. So when we try to create this form, so here we will create it as a form of form group. I will write it like this. So maybe here we are not able to get it on ng on init only, we will get an input. So let's try to take it as an ng on init, and here I can write this dot form is equal to, so like this. So this is somewhat better way to implement it, and in our dynamic form question.component also fine. So let's try to check it whether now we are able to get it or not. So now if I try to see the output for this one, so now we are able to get the output for this LX, email and also favorite animal. So this is how we will be populating the dynamic forms in this one. So if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video, and if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.